Mr. al-Sayed has campaigned alongside Hasan Piker, a radical left-wing Islamist who has said, among other things, America deserved 9/11. Mr. al-Sayed was very proud to stand next to Hasan Piker. Do you believe America deserved 9/11?
They killed 3,000 civilians, and for anyone to claim that any one of those civilians or individuals who died in that atrocious terrorist attack deserved it is shameful.
Absolutely not, and the reframing of 9/11 as something that is a consequence of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East is an incredibly dangerous rhetorical tool that the Brotherhood has used.
Welcome back to the channel. In this explosive breakdown, we dive straight into a high-stakes Senate hearing investigating foreign-linked networks operating within the United States. Watch as key witnesses unpack controversial campaign alignments, the historical truth behind the Holy Land Foundation trial, and the dangerous rhetoric surrounding historical national security events. From deep legal analysis of terrorist support convictions to the strategic push to influence American higher education and politics, this comprehensive analysis breaks down what was said on Capitol Hill and why it matters for the future of national security. Let's dive in.
Tension burns. CARE and other Muslim Brotherhood-affiliated groups have long referred to the convicted Holy Land Foundation defendants as political prisoners, implying that they were imprisoned for their beliefs. Based on the trial record you helped build, is that an accurate description?
It is completely inaccurate. Labeling prisoners as political prisoners does as you say. It implies that there was no due process, that people are imprisoned because of their beliefs or merely because of their speech. And in this instance, the Holy Land Foundation and 5 of its officers were tried by a jury of 12 jurors who were hand-selected by the prosecution and the defense, the jurors who found, beyond a reasonable doubt, that these individuals and the organization committed the crime of providing material support to terrorism under 18 U.S.C. 2339B. And then the defense appealed that judgment on many grounds to the Fifth Circuit, and the Fifth Circuit examined all of those issues and wrote a lengthy, almost 100-page opinion addressing those issues and affirming the convictions. And then the defendants applied for certiorari with the Supreme Court, who denied it. Therefore, they received exactly what our Constitution provides, due process, and expended all of their efforts challenging that. So I would say that that is an absolute mischaracterization of those individuals in that entity.
And isn't it true that those men were convicted by a jury on all counts after weeks of testimony, wiretaps, financial records establishing that they knowingly funneled money to a designated terrorist organization?
Yes.
Mr. Scheidler, how important is the Brotherhood network operating inside the United States to the Brotherhood's global agenda?
I would say it's probably central to their efforts. While they have influence in other countries that is perhaps more significant, the importance of influencing the United States is preeminent.
Let's turn to the American Muslims for Palestine. Ms. Claypock, there are serious allegations that AMP is effectively the alter ego of the Islamic Association for Palestine, the original Hamas propaganda front in the United States. Is there evidentiary support for that?
Yes, there is. That case is currently in litigation and scheduled to go to trial in February of next year. The district court judge in that case ruled against AMP, in multiple motions to dismiss, claiming that there was insufficient evidence of alter ego status.
Mr. Scheidler, are there individuals who move directly from IAP, UA, SR, or HLF into leadership roles at AMP?
Yes, there are. As you named some of them, Osama Abu Arshad, who was not just at IAP, but he was also at the United Association for Studies and Research, which was really the Hamas think tank of its time. It was created by Hamas foreign affairs leader Abu Marzouk and led by Ahmed Youssef, who was the sort of the Hamas political consultant.
And isn't it true that AMP's current executive director, Osama Abershad, previously worked for both IAP and the United Association for Studies and Research, which were two of the original Hamas-linked organizations in America.
Yes, that's correct.
And in April 2024, Mr. Abershad stood on George Washington University's campus at a student protest and said in substance that the movement would take back these colleges like it will take back America, like it will take back Palestine. Mr. Scheidler, does rhetoric like that also inform how we should understand Hamas's own intent for the network it built here in America?
Yes, it does.
We were talking about Abdul al-Sayed, now the Democrat nominee for U.S. Senate in the state of Michigan. Among other things, Mr. al-Sayed has campaigned alongside Hasan Piker, a radical left-wing Islamist who has said, among other things, America deserved 9/11. Mr. al-Sayed was very proud to stand next to Hasan Piker. I want to ask each of the three witnesses, do you believe America deserved 9/11?
No, sir, it did not. Al-Qaeda committed the acts that we saw on 9/11. Al-Qaeda hijacked commercial airliners and flew them into the World Trade Center and into the Pentagon and attempted to fly another plane and kill more civilians. They killed 3,000 civilians, and for anyone to claim that any one of those civilians or individuals who died in that atrocious terrorist attack deserved it is shameful.
Ms. Claypock?
Absolutely not, and the reframing of 9/11 as something that is a consequence of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East is an incredibly dangerous rhetorical tool that the Brotherhood has used, and we've seen that rhetorical tool extend even beyond to Mr. al-Sayed's statements about even the recent terrorist attack against a preschool in Michigan.
Mr. Scheidler?
I have to concur. It's a horrific statement.
Final question. What does it say to you that today's Democrat Party is proudly supporting Mr. al-Sayed as a Michigan U.S. Senate candidate and will funnel money, support, and advocacy behind his candidacy, notwithstanding his willingness to embrace someone like Hasan Piker, who says America deserved 9/11? Mr. Scheidler?
Oh, I would say it shows the success of the Muslim Brotherhood network over multiple decades, that they achieved what they said they were going to achieve, which was to normalize support for Hamas, normalize support for terrorism.
Ms. Claypock?
I would concur with that. The classification of this hearing and this endeavor as Islamophobic says a lot about the failure of one party in this country to confront the terrorist threat that faces our nation. I would say that the most Islamophobic or racist thing about this endeavor is the fact that the Democrats can't look at terrorists because they purport that it reflects all Muslims.
Ms. Burns?
I would say that embracing Muslim Brotherhood rhetoric and furthering the Muslim Brotherhood's agenda in this country will result in the erosion of our government, the erosion of the fabric of our society, and it poses a threat to our national security and should be treated as such.
Well, I want to thank each of the witnesses for your testimony. It was highly enlightening, and I hope that the administration listens to your testimony carefully, and I hope we see real action from the Department of Justice, the Department of Treasury, the FBI, and elsewhere following up and protecting the American people from what I believe is a clear and present danger to our safety and security. This concludes our hearing. Written questions can be submitted for the record until Tuesday, August 12th at 5 p.m. And I will ask the witnesses to answer and return any questions to the committee by August 26th at 5 p.m. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.
boiled over in the Senate chamber as an explosive hearing brought intense allegations straight to the congressional floor. The proceedings ignited when lawmakers confronted expert witnesses regarding political candidates aligning themselves with radical commentators, specifically focusing on Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed campaigning alongside streamer Hasan Piker, who notoriously claimed America deserved 9/11. Asked directly if any civilian victim of September 11th deserved that fate, every witness forcefully rejected the premise, calling the claim shameful and condemning efforts to reframe the single deadliest terrorist attack on U.S. soil as a simple byproduct of American foreign policy. The testimony then shifted to a deep legal analysis of the Holy Land Foundation trial. Former prosecutor Ms. Burns thoroughly dismantled claims made by advocacy groups that the convicted leaders were merely political prisoners. She detailed how a carefully selected jury of 12 citizens convicted the organization and its officers of providing material support to terrorism based on extensive wiretaps, financial records, and weeks of testimony, a verdict fully upheld by an almost 100-page Fifth Circuit opinion and affirmed when the Supreme Court denied certiorari. The hearing established that full constitutional due process was served. Witness testimony further exposed how foreign-linked influence networks view operating inside the United States as central to their global agenda. Expert witnesses highlighted ongoing federal litigation against American Muslims for Palestine, alleging it functions as the alter ego of the Islamic Association for Palestine, an early Hamas propaganda front. The committee reviewed evidence showing key leaders moving directly from historic extremist think tanks into executive roles at modern advocacy groups, pointing to campus rhetoric promising to take back these colleges like it will take back America as clear proof of strategic, long-term intent. In one of the most sobering exchanges, witnesses testified that major political backing of candidates tied to radical figures showcases decades of incremental strategy aimed at normalizing support for extremism. The panel pushed back against claims that investigating these ties is biased, warning that failing to confront these ideological networks erodes democratic institutions and threatens the fundamental fabric of American society. As the hearing concluded, committee members urged executive agencies like the Department of Justice, Treasury, and FBI to thoroughly review the record and take decisive action to protect the homeland. What are your thoughts on today's testimony? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss an explosive breakdown.